and subscribe.
Smash the dinghy.
I will get you. Fine.
All right. So there is a rock and roll show happening right meow called Welcome to Rockville. I'm Dr. Roxo. And I wanted to talk about Welcome to Rockville because, one, I don't know if it makes me a bad person. I didn't know this existed, but it sounds insanely awesome. And I wanted to look at the headlining acts and also
just
discuss...
DWP show?
DWP? What happened?
So there's this guy who actually does a lot of these festivals around the country. Has like 5 of them. They're DWP. It's Danny Wimmer Presents. Does a lot of these multi-night festivals. I couldn't remember if Welcome to Rockville is one of them, but I mean, there's tons of them all across the country that he puts on.
I feel like I'm learning so much insider information from you.
Well, I listen to a lot of Sirius XM.
But have you guys had a chance to look at the lineup for that was happening this weekend?
No, I was actually doing that right now.
So I'm just gonna say the headlining acts. I like some of the. I mean, of course, I like some of the headlining acts. There's some of the other card that are some of like the songs I listen to right now, or some of the bands of the songs that I listen to right now.
So I'm trying to pull it up right now, but I don't want to lag. So like, give me some lineups.
Two hours later.
Out of the 346 bands you just named, I am interested in like 5 of them, and this Blackstone Cherry band, because man, I keep hearing good things about Blackstone.
I think they're going to be big.
I think they're taking off. I wish. Can you like dream sequence in post? I wish there was a time where we had met them, but I have actually nothing to add to that dream sequence. So let's scratch that. Okay, so Blackstone Cherry is like, did I tell you that John, the bassist, is not with them anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like, I don't want to do this anymore, but I want to record stuff. Full disclosure, me and TJ have seen Blackstone Cherry collectively about 72 times. And
We've
one
met
of
them
those
in person
times,
about 73 times.
About 73 times, and we know the guys. And one of those times we actually opened for them.
Way back in our younger years when we were still
back in
playing
our
music.
younger years, back in 2012. See, the Oklahoma State Fair was a fair that took place in Fort Smith. We brought the best of Oklahoma and Arkansas together on the western border of Arkansas and the eastern border of Oklahoma, and there was Campbell's and Ducks and rides and whatnot, and there was bands playing in Hopper Coliseum. I remember that night. So well. We were shit on by security.
We got some stories there. Let's talk about this Welcome to Rockville, though.
Let's talk
before we
about
get
that.
into some of our stories. Yeah, Welcome to Rockville is a DWP show.
You called it, TJ.
So if any of these sound familiar, Louder Than Life Festival is one of them. Aftershock is one of them. I mean, he's got like a ton of them. Sonic Temple, Incarceration, Bourbon and Beyond, Epicenter. So he's got, I mean, they do like these every year, and there's always these huge lineups like this. Slipknot, I would love to see Slipknot. Trivium, Blackstone Cherry, I hear good things about them. I'd like to go ahead and see them again. Avenged Sevenfold, I'd like to see. I Prevail, I'd like to see.
I Prevail too, yeah.
I don't care for Evanescence anymore. It's just I don't think their stuff is as good as their first album.
Well, yeah, Ben's not there.
And that's I
said.
I think it's I don't think Amy Lee can write as good of songs as Ben. But that's just me. That's just I'd like to see Motionless in White, Memphis Mayfire, The Warning. I see. Here's a problem. Here's the problem with a lot of these festivals, though, is like, yeah, there's 50,000 bands playing, but I think it's also multiple stages.
Yeah.
And all these, a lot of these bands are playing at the same time until you get like to the main stage, which I think is what Alice Cooper, Godsmack, and Pantera is. Yeah, they'll start like at 7 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night or something, and then all these other ones like Hammerhead's probably playing Saturday morning at 9 a.m. like while they're serving breakfast.
Yeah.
I
say, TJ, I say real quick. Do you remember that one band who we're not going to talk about or say their names, but like, remember back in the day in Little Rock in Edge Fest, a Clear Channel station in Little Rock brought all these bands in.
I
And
never
played
went
this.
to Edgefest.
Nor did I, but somebody we know did.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
His wife was really pregnant.
Really, like pregnant,
yeah,
not just like
really,
regular pregnant.
Not right. Yeah.
Really pregnant.
So, that same band, they got to play at Edgefest. We beat in the Battle of the Bands to open for Blackstone Cherry and Theory of a Dead Man.
So the story, like, they've kind of been rivals of ours, but friends at the same time. Like, we'd know them, we'd hang out with them, we'd go over to their guitarist's house who, he was like the epicenter of the band. So like, if he didn't like someone, he'd fire them and replace them with somebody else and all this stuff. And we'd hang out with them and everything, but it was someone who thought they were more than what they are. Like, I don't know if he was intentionally being a dick.
No, I really don't think
but
so.
It just came off as like, I'm better than I am, kind of thing.
I know what I'm talking about. You guys don't have any idea. Right. There's so many inside jokes here that only me and you know, and that's what makes it even funnier. But this guy was in one band, and then he went to another band, and there was probably 3 years in between that.
It wasn't so much as in one band and then went to another band. He was in one band. They weren't very popular. They broke up, got back together with a new name.
Right. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And by the way, that same band that I'm convinced we could have played Edgefest if we just. I think what happened at the time is like we didn't have all our things together. Like something was missing where we're like, we can't play that contest because there was a Battle of the Bands audition to get to Edgefest. And I'm glad we didn't too, because they did like what you said. Like they opened for Coheed and Cambria on Saturday morning at like 6:45. Like people aren't even out of their tents yet. And they're like, sound check. Yeah, you're done with sound check. Just play. And they're like, it's just an empty field with a bunch of tents. They're like, yeah, whatever. Just like go. It's Edgefest. But like, yes. Even so, like there was a point in between bands where like there was a point.
Edit that. You mean make it a TikTok video?
That's not at all what I meant. But if it gets likes and comments and subscribes, some scribes. Some scribes in the castle have not been writing this down. I need some scribes.
Right.
But what TJ is not telling you, and what I'm not telling you, is because we never talk about this. There was a point, and I think this is where it really went downhill. There was a point where like his band was like no more, and our band was kind of like, hey, we need help. And he was like, I'll be the manager. Right. Here's a guitar player. And me and TJ were like, okay. And he gave us.
This wasn't so much his band is no more than our band is going, we need help. It was literally his band was no more. They weren't doing anything. They weren't getting along. And I don't think we were, I think we had split at that point. I think Cradle Scythe was no more. It was just kind of me and you jamming, and we kind of left our bass player and didn't really start up anything. And then I think he called you and asked you like if you wanted to play drums. He was going to create a band. He was going to start a band. He was going to find the members of the band and put them together. So like he got you for drums, but then it's like, I know this guy for guitar. So he comes over and like the guy can't play guitar. He's like horrible at it. And
okay, come on now. Give him. He was good at guitar, providing there was no tempo or time signature.
Yeah,
to play guitar. Like the riffs were there. The riffs were there. It's like that riff is jamming. Why can't he play it? Yeah. He wrote it, but I know it better than he does.
He had some technique, but like he could not keep time. I'm not excellent at keeping time, but still I know 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, I can do that in my head while I'm playing guitar.
I can't
know.
I can't tell you the number of times TJ me and TJ before I got up and played guitar, when I was playing drums, like me and TJ had some like sort of like cognizant kind of like look cue, and I remember that one of those first practices with this guy, I'm just kind of jamming, and I look up at TJ, and TJ is giving me this like, I don't know how to describe it, like he's looking at him like, yeah, but his eyes are like over here at me and saying, no, ain't gonna work.
The funny thing is, like, this one guy who's gonna put this band together, right? He's like, okay, well, we don't have a bass player, and I'm just like, I'll play bass, and he's like, no, and I'm like, well, just to help out for a while, and I bought a bass and everything, was sitting there, and going to play, and I'm just like trying to, basically, just kind of.
Trying to feel him out. Trying to feel the rhythm.
This guy out, because there's a point where in your mind you're sitting there going, hey, if this guy's any good, we can get Cradleside back together and ditch this dude who's trying to put this band together, and have another guitar player, right?
100% the plan all along. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it was. And so we're like, well, we need a singer. And it's like, well, I know a guy who can sing, and I swear, like, the guy who comes down who's like, the I can sing guy.
I forgot about this dude, man.
Oh man, it's like okay, and everything like he would say, he would break out into song,
He would.
And he's like, and by the way, it's like I have severe OCD, so if I don't do this, however many times I think my mom's gonna die, and it's like, cool, dude. So. What are you into? Like, what kind of music, what kind of bands you into? I really like Metallica. They are the greatest,
He's not, I want to say right now, he's not making this up. Everything he said actually happened. He was like, oh man, well, I really love Metallica. I just love how their harmonies get together. And we're out on my porch going, yeah, we like Metallica too. What do you say? You can't say, wow, yeah. What a fucking freight train of a mess. You can't just like,
well,
like,
I just remember like after, we auditioned this guy, and he came down. And by the way, like if you're trying to put a band together, like part of the band experience is the look. Like obviously, like I don't have it anymore, losing my hair, I'm going gray, right? But when I had longer, shaggier hair and a thicker, fuller beard, and just wore black clothes, and it looked more like I was in a band. I was like in a redneck band, but I was in a band. But like this guy like comes to audition wearing like this bright yellow shirt and like sweatpants. This guy's gonna be a rock and roll singer? Like I was expecting like someone with like longer hair, maybe like a chain wallet, and no, we got the guy who works the grill at McDonald's. And there's nothing wrong with working at McDonald's.
No. Except when you ask the French fries if they're being cooked correctly.
Or if you sing the order back to them.
I was about to say.
So,
all right, we got a number one with fries here. Number one with fries. A number one with fries minus the pickles. That was this guy.
Granted, he was able to sing. He could hold a note. But,
no, he was.
When you're trying to have a conversation with someone.
That's the weirdest part. He was such a good singer. Like, when he broke into that, you were, like, taken back. But, like, what? Like, wow. You're like, oh, no. He said, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. This might work. Oh, no, he's crazy.
Yeah. Good time.
You want a band experiences, Mr. Cack? You got brand experience. I got another one for you. TJ loves this one.
Wait. What, can we just one?
Smash the dinghy.
Let me switch to. These are two nerds, one topic. We have rock and roll true stories from Nerd Jared and Nerd TJ. Boys, regale us with your tales of rock and roll.
This is a rock and roll true story from Rage You Nerds. TJ, you remember the time we played at Downtown Music and Records in Little Rock, and like we were paired up?
Which time?
Yeah, hang on. I'll tell you which time. We played with a band that the singer was autistic.
King Dawn.
King Dawn, baby. And so, like, all right, so this is a 100% true story. King Dawn, we played with them a couple of shows, and like the singer who, go ahead, TJ.
I was about to say this. I remember the time because it was like I think like 3 or 4 days after Dimebag Darrell's death.
Right. Yes, because we played
this show. We attempted to play Walk. Attempted.
Fair.
Yeah, we attempted. Like, I think you were fine, and Bernie was fine, and then me, I was trying to sing, and I think I threw my voice out. But like, I was like, "Hey, let's play Walk," and it's like, man, I've never played that before. Like, I know this riff, dun 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 dun. dun. It's like, yeah, just keep doing that. And then it's like, I was like, Bernie, you just take the guitar, and he ended up.
No, Bernie sang. Did Bernie sing it?
No, I sang
Bernie,
it. Bernie played guitar.
You sang Bernie. I'm sorry. The bass player and the other.
We're not saying
his
real name. We're not saying his real name.
It's not Bernie. It's not Bernie or Bernard or Bernie
or Bernadette
or Bernadette. But yeah, that was right after that was right after Dimebag died. But anyways, so King Dawn, his name was Dawn, and the reason they called him King Dawn was because he wore this Elvis cape thing.
Oh, it was more than a cape. It was the whole jumpsuit.
It was the whole get up.
Flames on the legs, flames on the arms, just like bell bottom, everything. A whole like Elvis jumpsuit.
The night that we played first, King Dawn played, and then there was another band after him. And me and TJ were talking to the guitar players. And keep in mind, was that the night we had Jake play drums? Was I on guitar at that point? Okay, all right. I was still playing drums. Okay. No, that's right. I played, yeah. All right,
I think this was the first time we played Downtown Music, and then the second time was when Jake was.
Before Hellfest was a thing.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Hellfest is, you probably won't, but it was a thing in Little Rock. But yeah, like me and TJ were talking to the guitar players, and we're like, hey man, and this is the thing. Again, I'm not making fun of people who are mentally challenged, but we asked the two guitar players, we're like, hey, good set, music was cool, Dawn.
We asked if they had any CDs or something for sale.
Yes, yeah. And they were like, we haven't really recorded because it's just like, we're just jamming. He says whatever he wants. And we're like, what? And they're like, well, he's just, Dawn's, he's autistic. He gets in the zone and he says and sings whatever he wants. So like, none of the songs are the same when we go from show to show. And I was like, well, okay, cool. All right. He's like, now me and him have wrote this song, and the drummer, like, we're jamming, but like, he never sings the same thing every time. And what prompted this conversation was during that show, while this man was dressed as Elvis on stage, he's like, this next song is called Chainsaw Lover. Yeah. So like, if I ever say Chainsaw Lover, TJ, we know that because we were all standing there going, cool. I don't know what to say. Now, at the time, we did not know that this guy was autistic. We had no idea. We just thought he was like, he'd been smoking a bunch of meth.
But I mean,
we didn't know.
Like, he dressed like Elvis. He had the sideburns. He had the sunglasses, everything. It was cool, and their set was so good, and then just like their music was so good, and and the Chainsaw Lover, we're like, yeah, we really like this. It's like, hey, can we get a CD? And then we find out, and it's like that's like the coolest thing in the world.
It was.
I mean, it's just like here's these guys who I think they even said they had another band, and what they do is they come out with this guy and do shows just because they're friends with him and everything. I'm like, that is just the coolest thing in the world.
So Chainsaw Lover was a one-off that night. Like me and TJ and whoever was at Downtown that night are the only people maybe that have experienced Chainsaw Lover. And so like, but that was so iconic to me because like, even in joking, it's like from now on, like if something is kind of like, what do you want to call it? It's like Chainsaw Lover, you know, it's just, and it sounds silly, but it's not to me because I'm like, especially with TJ, like we have something to talk about. It could be anything. Be like, well, that movie was over there, and it's like we're gonna blah, blah, what do you want to call that? Chainsaw Lover. Like I can say Chainsaw Lover to TJ, and he will immediately crack up, you know, because we were there at the time. And that those lyrics may have been different in any other show. That was the only show we played with him, unfortunately. I wish we could have played more because they were like, and we were like, so Cradle Scythe was all about energy. Bah, 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 bah. We love to play fast and get them going. And King Dawn was like the drums, the guitar, the bass. It was very much a metalcore kind of thing, you know, with a lot of.
You know how they ended their set that night?
They threw roses at him, didn't they?
No, you know how they ended their set? Like what caused them to end their set? Their guitarist kept breaking strings.
Yeah,
and he was down to like 2 strings left.
And he was still
on his
playing.
Guitar, and he was still playing, and it was down to 2 strings left. And he's like, "Yeah, we need to stop. I don't know if how much more of this it's gonna take."
We all stood behind the stage, and I wish I could show you a picture of downtown, but like behind the stage was like the stage was that tall. And it looked like a wrestling ring. On the other end, we're just standing behind there, ready to load in, load out, whatever. And we're like, well, I ain't going out drinking another beer.
This like the first downtown? Was like it was like in the middle of the room, or something, right? And then like the second time we played downtown, they moved the building
next door. Yeah,
and then they
door.
God, we almost.
It was wild, man. Man, I missed that. I missed playing in Little Rock, man. Like we could draw being here in the little town that we're in. We would play Fort Smith, which is exactly 36 miles away, and not have a draw. We would drive 147 miles to Little Rock and have 140 people come up to watch us. I never understood that.
I don't so much miss playing Little Rock because I don't miss the drive to and from.
I
miss the 30-minute shows playing for a bunch of people.
Yes.
I miss more the bands we played with. You know,
Temesis.
Dean Heathen. Oh crap! Who are the guys that had the tour bus?
Eden Crow.
You know, just these groups that, you know, we became friends with because we did shows with a lot. You know, and then it's like, hey, anytime, you know, hey, we had a show and we needed another band, you know, you call up one of them and be like, hey,
they came to Clarksville one night and played.
Yeah. Oh man, Temesis. I miss those guys. I miss Emil.
Emil
is the drummer for Temesis.
Fantastic drummer. Fantastic drummer.
Stand-up guy. I mean, just one of the nicest, like tattoos like, covering his body. Really big guy. Looks scary as hell. Nicest person you'll ever meet.
So
now,
okay, listen, I gotta pee. So you tell the story about when STOMPHONIC gave you some shit. All right, I gotta pee.
Okay.
TJ, tell the story.
Okay. So, Kak, you ready for this one?
TJ, am I ever ready for this one?
So this is back in the MySpace days.
Oh, Lord.
So back in the MySpace days, the band was me, Jared, of course, and we had like someone singing, another guitar player, and a bass player. Our guitar player at the time was ditching out on practices and found out it was hanging out with this other band out of Fort Smith called STOMPHONIC. So we eventually ended up letting him go. And I got on like his MySpace page, or no, I got on the I think I got on the Cradle Scythe MySpace page, and was like, "You guys suck. You guys are the worst band ever." Just going off, just trashing. You know, my own band, right? And then I said, "Oh wait, ... This isn't STOMPHONIC's MySpace page." Apparently, that didn't sit too well with them. Who, by the way, were not friends on MySpace with us. So how they found out about it, come to later find out, was our guitar player, who we had let go, told them about it. And apparently they did not like it too much. Apparently their shit didn't stink out of Fort Smith. They were the top shit in Fort Smith. They were the top dog. They were the one band. They were always played on the radio. local band, played on the radio every week, STOMPHONIC. And we invited them, and this is after, I think, this is after we invited them down to Little Rock to do a show with us at Juanita's, right?
He gave us the 1 minute finger.
Oh no, it's not the only time he's given us the finger.
Don't tell. Oh, you did. That's not the last and first time Jed has given us the finger.
That was the MySpace incident. Was that
Yes.
after?
It
That was
was
after
after.
we. Because what had happened was we had invited them down to Little Rock because we wanted to get, that we know they hadn't played Little Rock because they're only playing Fort Smith, apparently. So we know they hadn't played down in Little Rock. So we invited them down to Little Rock to do a show with us. Temesis, STOMPHONIC, Cradle Scythe, down in Little Rock. STOMPHONIC goes on first. They do their set. Right. For one, I think they showed up late.
Yep.
And we had to stack equipment at the time because, 3 different bands. I can't remember. Did we stack equipment or did we have to?
We
did we
backlined. We backlined. We backlined us and Temesis.
Okay. So STOMPHONIC goes up there. They set up. They show up late. They play their set. And when they're done with their set, what you're supposed to do in any band, playing a show, you're supposed to, when you're done, you get your shit off the stage and let the other band put their shit on the stage. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay? They got off the stage and they left their shit up there. And they're like, we're going to sell merch. We have a merch table set up. We're going to sell merch. We're going to sign autographs. We're going to meet everybody. And we're like, get your shit off the stage. There's other bands that have to play. And so eventually, I think it took them 45 minutes to get their stuff off the stage.
It wasn't quite that long, but it was a long time. It was so the time you get done to the time you offload is
It's supposed to be
5
15
minutes.
minutes.
well, it's
5 to
supposed to be
15.
15, but
Yeah.
it took 5, and they took 20 or so. It was enough to make us go.
It cut our set short and it cut Temesis set short.
Oh yeah, but you know what? You know who got paid the most?
So that's what started it. And so I make, the MySpace comment way back in the MySpace days. We let go of our guitar player. Our guitar player tells them. We get a show at Area 51.
Which
in
is
Fort Smith.
not even there anymore, I don't think.
No, it was
None
this,
of it is.
it was a long time ago. It was this
That
club
was
in
the
Fort
time where
Smith.
they had the stage
It was
they
a
built the
7-foot
stage.
stage.
6 foot. Yeah, I was 14 feet in the air. I was level with the truss, the lighting truss.
I was there was a 6-foot person standing below us. He was 6 feet and his head did not even make to the top of the stage. Right. And then there was another 6 feet for the drum riser.
Yeah.
So
I was up
we're
there,
talking,
man.
yeah. So we get the show, we get to play there, and I'm sitting there I'm eating nachos or something like that, drinking a beer, just hanging out with my girlfriend at the time, and other bands are setting up and playing. This guy walks up to me and goes, "Hey, who's the guitarist for Cradle Scythe?" I'm like, "That's me." He goes, "Hey, I'm so and so. I run sound for STOMPHONIC. Just remember that." It's like a threat. I'm like, "Okay," and just went back about my business. Apparently, what he decided not to do was turn on the microphone to my guitar amp. So, the first
Yeah.
couple songs, you heard the drums, and you heard the bass,
and vocals.
but apparently
That's
my
when
guitar,
Emil came in.
That's when Emil came in, was sitting right next to him, and I just see him just look over at the guy and be like, "Turn the amp on," or "Turn the mic on," or something. Of course, we didn't find out about it till later, but I mean,
Yeah.
It's no big deal. STOMPHONIC eventually broke up, and their singer died, so I mean, it's all good.
He died of gonorrhea, and may he rot in hell. I don't know what happened to him.
It was actually it was testicular cancer, I believe. or something
Oh,
like that.
what a
Yeah.
shame. Well,
Yeah.
teach you to fuck with us. But
Fuck Cradle Scythe, you get
I'm
cancer,
sorry.
bitch.
Lord, I apologize. May he rest in peace, dick. What? Why
This
are you
stuff's
laughing?
probably not gonna go into the live.
Oh, it will.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
will?
make this the Sunday episode is what I'm gonna freaking do. Sunday is our
You
most
don't mess with
watched
the band days, motherfucker.
We didn't even talk about we didn't even
Well-
talk about when we got to open for Blackstone Cherry. They're
Hey!
like, you guys,
You know what? We
what?
Save it.
Hang on.
I was
Weekly
gonna say,
thing.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Save?
save it.
All right,
Let's.
cool, save.
You know, I was calling this two nerds one topic, but fuck, we might just call it. We were in a band. We just let you guys have your conversation because I enjoyed the piss out of that. I don't know how you guys felt about doing it, but I could have turned my mic off for the last 45 minutes and no one would have noticed a damn thing from my end.
Give me a solo. Give me a solo. Next week on Rage You Nerds, we'll talk to you about the time that Jared got extremely pissed off when we were invited to open for a band and forced to sit backstage in a cow panel. Join us next week on Rage You Nerds. Like, comment, and subscribe. Smash that dingy. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
got
am
so
definitely
pissed at that guy.
I definitely think today I think definitely
Put
think
us in a
I definitely think Saturday and Sundays are going to be the hey, did you know these two guys are in a band episodes?
Two old nerds reminisce about the good old days.
Tomorrow night,
to
TJ,
see.
tomorrow night, we need to get together and let's kind of like write down all the shows where something went hooey.
Yeah, don't
And
don't offload all of your stuff in one episode.
Oh no!
Let's see how many we can do
would be
this.
talking like 4 or 5 hours.
oh
if we
god,
did
we've
that.
got years.
Okay,
yeah.
good. All right, so after sitting here and listening to the transition, especially since you guys started doing the bit in the let's talk about Welcome to Rockville segment, I think now like this is what I want. We should just go ahead and just B block, like A block, B block. A block is the rant and one trailer, and then break. Then B block is just you two, and I just become a producer.
As it works, I guess.
My
fine
nips
with
are so hard.
you
Can
didn't
I
even
ju-
kill a lion.
Yeah, I didn't kill a lot. That was enjoyable. Like all I had to do was like shut my mind off, and it was like, all right, when one talks, I click a button and put it on their camera. And this is honestly a godsend right here because sometimes you guys start talking at the same time. I'm like, well, fuck, how do I get around that? Oh yeah, I have a screen with both of them on it, and I think it looks good. I think it looks good when you two are talking at the same time. I think that screen works really well with that part of it because of how things play
Maybe
out.
flip us because I'm looking that way and he's oh, hang on. I'm
Yeah.
looking that way.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe I just
'Cause,
flip.
like-
Maybe I just mirror yours to flip on like the camera.
Because when you
feed.
cut to both of us talking, we're like,
You kind of looking away from each other. Yeah, no, I got that. I felt
I don't
that.
want to talk to you. God damn it.
That's what happens when you're in a band.
Very much what happens. TJ can tell you. One night I was like, because what? It's his fault.
It's like
That's another topic for another time. That'll be next
I
week.
was like not
Join us
even
on
anywhere
Rage Your
around.
Nerds. What?
I wasn't even anywhere around.
You weren't
That's the
even
best
there.
part. Like, no, I was there. I was like in the house, and you were outside screaming at someone, and then you go, "It's TJ's fault," and then I'm like, "Oh hell no!" And then I got up and walked outside.
And then I remember I backtracked. Quickly. I was like, well, it's did I blame Brent? I'm not gonna say his name. Did I blame the other guy?
I don't know what eventually happened, but
We all kissed and made up so much, but like
Theoretically.
Theoretically, yeah. No, I kissed TJ on the mouth with my tongue.
I must have been asleep or drunk.
I will not deny that.
Well, now
What?
I'm not glad we're still recording. I was glad we were still recording to a point.
I was glad we said, oh shit.
Now I've just
Listen,
become an
wait till we
accessory
tell
to
you
a
how
crime.
much beer we would drink.
Oh shoot.
Well, don't tell
on
all the
that note-
stories now. Yeah, let's don't.
Yeah.
tell-
Stay
save-
tuned next week to find out how much beer we would drink.
Yeah. Good night. there was a
Smash
final
the
rage, but I don't remember what it was. Is it?
Hey.
Oh, Tom
Next week.
Hanks. Tom Hanks wants to live forever.
Tom
Cool.
Hanks.
Tom Hanks is.
That's
Tom
the guy.
Hanks has said there's enough footage of me that they can use deepfakes to keep me in movies well after I'm dead.
I'll show him a deep fake.
All right, good night.
That-